All right, y'all, I just want to come on for about 15 minutes or so. I need to have a giveaway. I probably should have done that. We'll do a giveaway in a minute. And do a kind of a preview of what's going on in the next couple of days, next weeks, and answer any questions that anybody might have as well. I'm not selling anything today. Like I said, I think I will do a giveaway here. Yeah, maybe I'll give that away. All right. We'll do that in a minute, but I wanted to have any questions. I've got a bunch I want to say, but I wanted to answer any questions that anybody might have as well. So feel free to drop those down there. We should be going live on Garage Sale Nation and on Commonwealth Picker Facebook page as well. So keep that in mind. Chernok's in here. Actually, I was going to do a Q&A today, and I couldn't figure out a time, and nobody was live on Dibdit. And I was like, okay, I'll do one at 12:15. Then I'll raid into Chernok's show, which is followed on Dibdit Threads, which is followed by who else is selling? Buckeye Picker. I think he's selling right now over on Dibdit Threads. And then Clever Finds went live on Dibdit, so I feel bad. So if you are interested in video games and he's got all kinds of stuff: video games, toys, collectibles, just random anime, bunch of stuff. He's actually selling right now over on, right here. What just happened? My light just went off. Oh, well. Let me see if I can get it back on. Hold on. He's selling right here on Dibdit, so you can check him out right now if you want. What just happened here? I don't know why that went off. Oh, well. I'll put it on my computer. Maybe I can get it to work. Let's see here. You know me and technology. Let's see if I can get that to work. Hey, look at that. It worked. All right. I do have a few things to say, but let me preview the shows today. Dibdit's got tons of shows today. Memories Mercantile is toys at 2 o'clock. Like I said, Clever Finds is running now as well. I'll answer that question in a minute. Shoot Family. And I know there's a message that I got to get to you. So if you're listening, we'll try to get all caught up here. He's selling reseller bundles over here, which would normally be on. Okay. Thank you, Jay Ryan. It would normally be on the reseller bundles would normally be on Commons, which is what J-Ride is talking about. But that does require a subscription over there. You're putting them over here, but we need to talk about that. There's some other questions. I'm going to get behind. I'll scroll back through. Bill is selling media bundles at 5. So we got a 2 o'clock show, 3 o'clock show, 5 o'clock show, Second Love Easter show if you want to get your cheap Easter stuff without going to Walmart and picking it up. Second Love. Genie K, Blown Glass at 6. Both those shows are at 6. JP Model Trains at 7 and more. Pickabilly box sets, media sets at 8. And BS Retro video games, including NES cartridges, at 9. And then Polish and Brush, I think there's a show going on right now on Polish and Brush. Y'all, if you're not on Polish and Brush, you should check it out. You can source over there. I did, and I'm making money off of that as well. Plus, my wife bought stuff for herself as well. I'm going to tilt this up just a little bit. Threads, Buckeye's going now, Chernok, and then Buckeye's going to follow Chernok again. And then North Wholesale tonight at 9 o'clock. Dibdit Cards, Space Treks at 1 o'clock. Mixed Lots, Jordan T, 2:30. I don't know what he's selling. And MB, he puts on a good show over there. And those are non-sports cards at 5:30. There's also a show on cards at 8. Show on cards at 9. I really suggest, okay, let me go scroll back up and answer some questions. When you co-stream, can you preload your items if you're the co-host? And can you explain a little bit on how to join? Whoops, I lost it. How to join someone to co-host. Okay, so no, we've asked for it. What you can do is if you agree, first of all, I don't preload stuff. It just takes too much time, but a lot of people do. If you are the co-host who is being invited into it, the host has to click on your name right there and you can be invited in if you're in the chat. There's other ways to do it, but I found that is now the easiest way. That somebody pointed that out to me the other day. So that's not a hard thing. If you have any questions, always put them in the live seller chat and you'll get an answer pretty quick. Now, as far as preloading into somebody else's show, you cannot do that in advance. If you set up your own show, you load all those items, and then you enter into somebody else's show. The pre-bids that were on yours, you can transfer them all over. So once you're in their show, then you can bring all your items over into that show at that point. But you have to do it live while you're on the show. Now, we've been using this new technique where there's one listing and whoever starts the listing gets it. But those are generic listings. So you got to be careful and you got to be sure that's what you want to do. But don't, there's a couple little snafus that can happen with that. But boy, it makes those co-streams go way quicker. I highly suggest people starting to see it, become pretty close with other sellers and follow each other and support each other, and then co-streaming together. It can really bump up none of the uncles that I have. So there are, speaking of, Uncle Steve Picker is going to be on Dibdit Sports on Wednesday at 6:30. That's another great place if you're a reseller to source right now. You can source over there and make some money for sure. And Threads is another one. We're having a massive show on the 3rd, April 3rd. It's going to have, so far we have 28 sellers, and it's going for like 16 hours, and it's full at this point. And so unless we add another day, that'll probably be it. We're not taking new folks into that, but we've got tons of sellers who have been selling over there, some new ones as well. And we're co-streaming. Every single show is going to be a co-stream. I'm going to co-stream twice. One with North Sells, I think, and one with Mimi. And I've had other requests too. So please don't feel bad. I know there's a lot of folks who'd love to co-stream with me, and I'd love to co-stream with you, and a few that I've actually told that I will do it at some point and have not done it yet. So we will get there. There you go, Mimi. She sells great purses over there. All right, I'm doing a fan shop auction in a couple weeks. Sports apparel and collectibles. Do you recommend Dibdit or Sports Supply? So that's a great question. We have these internal discussions all the time. If it's a fan shop kind of thing, we're trying to decide if we want the sports collectibles to go on Dibdit cards or to go on Dibdit. We kind of want Dibdit Sports Supply to be equipment, golf and pickleball and baseball and whatever. And that's we're having that internal discussion. So as far as a recommendation for fan shop stuff right now, I would probably say Dibdit at this point. Collectible, because it's collectible stuff, right? So it really fits Dibdit. So that is, you need a clone. Amen. For sure. You look like, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, let's see what I can do here. Let me go back up, see if I missed a question. I have a question. When seeking electronics, how can you guarantee you won't be scammed? My first big eBay sell $400 VCR combo, and I missed it. And the item was switched out. Well, I've done a lot of things for a few years. Make sure you have that serial number. You can, there's different little techniques. You can carve little things in different spots to see. When you're starting out, you will get more scammers than otherwise. Report it to eBay for sure. I've even heard people take it to the police. So I don't know how much good that's going to do you. But look, there are no guarantees. Somebody can put a comment down there as well. You definitely need to have it returned, and you can give a less of a refund as well if it's not the same item. You shouldn't give any, but you know how that goes. For sellers that are only getting a couple bucks per item sold, what percentage is taken for fees? Well, if you're looking at, selling $1 items is not the way to go. However, starting items at $1 sometimes is going to create a following for you. And then if you can get 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 buyers, even at that dollar mark early on in an auction. So I encourage people to put decent stuff out early. Not your best necessarily. Because once you get those buyers, then they have that progressive shipping and they're much likely to buy other things. If you have progressive shipping set right, my goal with progressive shipping is to make the 30-cent trend. Every single item you sell, there's a 30-cent fee. My goal with my progressive shipping is to make just enough to cover that 30 cents and try to keep it as low as possible for everybody else. That's my strategy. So it's a 10% fee for Well, it depends on the marketplace and the person, whatever, but it's 10% fee for 99% of people on the sale of the item, but not on the shipping. And then there's a 2.9%, and it can go up depending on how it's processed, which processor, and what the card is, and all that. A little bit higher than that. So let's say roughly 13. That 3% or 2.9% is on the entire transaction, but the 10% is just on the sale price of the item. You're not being charged like on eBay for the 10% on the shipping and all the taxes and all that stuff. And then there's a 30-cent transaction for every single one. Just like on eBay, there's 40 cents for everyone. So you got to keep that in mind, and balance that all out. And, some people it's not for, some people it is. And if you can do multiple shows over the course of a couple days, it really, really mitigates that part of the problem. So that are only getting, okay, we already got that. So I don't have any more questions after that. All right. What else we got? I got a ton of stuff written down here. Co-streaming. That's one of the things I want to talk about. I really encourage people to co-stream on Dibdit.com and the other platforms as well. I got to be honest with you. Now is the time. There have already been some reselling live stars kind of made over here. And some of you are in this chat because you've been at it through the more lean times, and it's really starting to grow. I mean, we doubled, and then we doubled again. I don't think we're quite going to double again. It gets to the point where you can't double every month, but this month has been been going very well. I think on other other marketplaces, Dibdit Threads is growing very quickly. Dibdit Cards is growing. Polish and Brush, of course, we have Dibdit Sports as well. Mine is Shop Commons, which is only for wholesale. So I need a Apple device. Yeah, for sure. Hey, Dan in Demand, when's your next show, Dan? We're going to do a big event on cards coming up. We're also going to do a big giveaway event across all marketplaces. So if you have not joined all of those and you want to participate, we're going to be giving away stuff. We're just going to go from one giveaway to another giveaway to another giveaway for like 2 hours and put some good stuff in there. So if you haven't joined those other marketplaces, if you do it in advance, the ones I mentioned would be, Dusty Box, thank you. And you've been around for a while, and we try to, help the folks that have been doing this for a while in here. And sometimes we fail, but we do our best. And I think Dusty Box, no, you don't have a show today. It's BS Retro has a show. So it's exciting. My goal, I hope to get Dibdit, this one, to 25,000 by the end of the year. 25,000 members, and try to keep that ratio about 20% sellers versus members. This stuff's not easy to do. We've been having fun doing it. I know there's CW had a show last night as well. So any more questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I have a few more things jotted down. Hey, I got a show tomorrow. I'll shout out my own show. I'm going on. Jimmy showed me these records that he found, and he's like, I don't know if I want to list these on eBay. Records are hard. I'm like, those are good records. And so we're coming on tomorrow at 12:30 on Dibdit, and he's selling all. I made him like $1 starts, $4.99, $1.50 progressive. I'm like, dude, you're just gonna sell them all. It's like, all right. So Jimmy's coming on with me. I've got a whole ton of what I have media left. I'll probably throw in other non-media stuff tomorrow at 12:30. I'm selling live on Commons at 12 tomorrow. I have no idea what's in that show because Jess does all that. Should be fun. I'm always game for co-streaming. Here's another thing I would suggest as we're growing, because we're doing this massive raid train on Threads on the 3rd. So be aware that if you're a seller on Dibdit, that there may be a little bit of a lull. However, it's all closed over there that day, so you're going to have maybe some free space on the 3rd to sell some different stuff. But at some point, we'd like to see these sellers who have had experience and been around to, like Second Love, she's doing an Easter show. I don't think anybody's doing Easter around her or with her but to organize your own raid trains based on a theme and to collaborate with all those people in there. So you make sure that raid goes from that person to that person to that person. Other people are welcome to sell at any time, sell what they like. But it really does help to have that organizational factor like we do have on Threads. Roger organized that one. And then eventually, as we grow big enough, we could have, like on Threads, for instance, we could have themed, like it's only graphic tees one day, or maybe it's a decade, or maybe it's whatever. And so, but we want that to be organic with the sellers. We want the sellers to just talk in the live seller chat, co-stream with people, build your audience with their audience. Do a giveaway when you do these, just to get those new followers. So we want that to be organic with some of the experienced sellers, and we know some of these experienced sellers are really kind folks, and they're always bringing new folks in who are just starting in this. Hey, Thrifty Manny, and helping them grow. I have tried, like I'm going with North Sales. I try to pick different. I don't need to go with Dave and whatever. Dave doesn't need my help, and I don't need Dave's help. But I'm trying to do this and trying to do more of these co-streams. I don't co-stream with anybody. It's too hard. Okay, that's fine. Nobody has to. I find it easier and easier because of the new methods. Like, for instance, I did a co-stream the other day with Second Love. There was one listing. We were both doing media. I made a listing. I sold it. As soon as it was sold, she clicked on my listing, duplicated it, and sold it, and it went to her. So there was one listing, and it just went back and forth and back and forth, and it was very quick, and it went very well. Now, you got to know what you're doing to do that. But yes, it does get hard when it's, you got to go into the shop and do whatever. So it's the type of stream that you do. But we never had to leave that one screen, never one time. So it was very, very quickly. So appreciate that, Paul. Any other questions? I can confirm that joining the trains increases followers. Absolutely. Doubled my followers just by joining the last media train. Yeah, there's no doubt. And throwing in, I don't encourage people to give away all this stuff because, sometimes your margins are really small doing what you're doing on here. But if you can, it really does, just at least one giveaway, really does help to gain those followers for sure. So just started having a lot of fun. Most of my items have been $1 sales, but I know I'll grow over time. Takes a while to build a community. Yeah, there's no doubt. Nomadic Flippers, you ran a great show. I mentioned you actually on the Trash to Cash podcast we recorded last night. It'll come out tomorrow. There's also a demeanor to the successful sellers and an interaction with the buyers and building a relationship, building a trust as well. And you have a great one. You're very appreciative of sales. When people, and I'm guilty of this sometimes, I'm like, man, that thing's worth $50 and I just sold it for 12 or whatever. You want to be happy for those other people that get the deals, even if you're not happy. I'm not saying fake it, but you got to have that mentality going in. Reselling live is not for everybody. There is no doubt. But it is for a lot of people. And if you're a sourcer who sources tons of stuff cheap and you need to roll through, I feel better about passing it on to another reseller with a few bucks and focusing on my niche or what I like to do. So it isn't for everybody. And if you're going to come out here and try to sell, all you do is try to sell your $2 stuff for $1, it can be hard. It's going to be hard. Tons of deals on here. So I'm glad. Yeah, I've made probably 5 sales this week of stuff that I bought off of Dibdit, all for a profit, or Dibdit threads or whatever. So it's been fun. I had a blast, even though someone bought a $30 item for $4. Yeah, it happens. And look, a lot of sellers will come on, do one show, and they're like, oh, it didn't work. If you have the mentality you're going to come on, do it. Look, I have good shows and bad shows as far as money goes. So if that's the case for me, I know it's the case for a lot of you out there. And sometimes it's just pure luck too. When you start a show versus, who rates you. That's one thing I want to talk about before we leave. And ironically, I set this up so I could rate into threads because there was no Dibdit shows at the time. But I talked to Clever Finds when I saw him go on. So I'm just going to tell you, go check out his show if you're interested in video games and toys and whatever. I'm going to rate over to threads because they had shows for the next few hours before they started here on Dibdit. So that's what we're going to do. But be careful and be very aware if you want to make friends and influence people, and you rate into them. It's a great way to gain followers as well. And just look at like, okay, this was pre-scheduled and it was after me. That's the show I need to rate to on the platform. I give suggestions. We're not going to police anybody with it. It's not like it's a gotcha or whatever. We don't. It's just trying to be polite to the folks in your community who have pre-planned, have posted a show. They're after you. Maybe you want to run for an hour and 15 minutes, whatever. It's okay. But communicate with those other sellers around you. It's really, really big. Just want to say hi. Hey, Jess B. Crafton. We got more Dibdit bags. That's what I should do today. I'll tell you what. I'll give away a Dibdit bag tomorrow from Jess B. Crafton. I'll give one of those away on my show tomorrow for sure. I'll do 2 or 3 giveaways because I've been yapping this whole time. There you go. So it really does, sometimes, sometimes you get lucky. It's like, oh, ADH Dave just rated me or whatever. And it really makes for a great, and sometimes it doesn't work out. And so I think getting to know the sellers around you and who are posting next to you and on the typical days that you do and talking to them is really, really a helpful thing. And that's kind of what we're doing here. Reach out if you have any concerns. People do all the time. I get messages all the time like, how come I didn't get this rate? Or how come I didn't look? Just know that I personally try to do my very best and to be fair and to do what's right. But sometimes there's just no good answer. So also helps to put in the title. That's a very good. Thank you, CW. If you plan on going for an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever, put it in your title. It just gives people a good heads up for sure. We don't want to restrict people. If somebody wants to come on and they can have success selling 7 days a week on here for 5 hours a day, go for it. Go for it. Perfectly fine. But it's nice for other people to know. And I would like this thing to grow to the point where there's, like I said, 25,000 members in here, which is going to happen at some point. I'd rather happen earlier rather than later. But where there could be multiple shows on multiple platforms and people are finding what they want and finding the people that they like, the people that they trust. That's a big thing, y'all. You got to treat the folks who are buying from you correctly. And most everybody on here, it rarely comes to me, but sometimes it does. So, and I don't want to get into all that, but the people that treat their customers right are going to have repeat customers on this platform far more than on, say, eBay or something like that. That's what makes everybody happy. Okay. When here we go. Doing the show, set up, click on the host notes and can edit. I didn't see the original question. Had other sellers schedule after me and they asked to raid them. It works great. Yeah. And you got to be careful because sometimes somebody will put a show in there later and you end up raiding into their show, which is not the end of the world, y'all. But if there's pre-scheduled stuff versus a pop-up, I think we owe a little bit of an obligation to the folks who have pre-planned it a little bit. You can do that when you hit go live. I've seen a lot of people with signs on there. Here's their progressive shipping, putting it in your show notes. If you're planning on doing another show before you ship, this is the day that I ship. Use those host notes. It can answer questions very quickly. I have no idea how this works. Yeah, Virgil, first of all, come over to dibdit.com, dibdit.com. And Dave, ADH Dave, had on his Flips channel has tutorials on videos on how you can reach out in the seller chat and you can do that over there. Or if you're just talking about buying, then it's not that hard. Come over, enter your information, put in code Commonwealth. That's the other thing. CoStream is one of the big ones, but use your code. If you have social media, use your code. I've been using mine. Obviously, I show myself all the time, and I get money to spend every single week. If you want to answer the Facebook question out loud, District Help Center includes step-by-step instructions for every piece of going live. Yeah, gotcha. Dave does a better job. Just saying. But we are dedicated to building Dibdit.com, and we want this place to be a fun place for everybody. We want this place to be a place that they want to sell, and just knowing that it will not be for everybody. We're also building, I tell you what, it's a place to buy. I'm finding this out more than I thought I would, especially in the winter months. I was buying over here like crazy and making money. Captain Deals, are they working on progressive shipping for all Dibdit platforms like Threads? Maybe-ish, yeah. It's been a suggestion. We'll see. There's a lot of complicated things that go on. So that's my dad in the chat. Okay. I've talked a lot, and I will be back 12 o'clock on Commons tomorrow, 12:30 on Dibdit, and you got to come support Jimmy, and then we'll raid into whoever else is going on Dibdit tomorrow. Should be fun. Would love the envelope shipping option for stuff like sports car. Absolutely, 100%. And there are options out there. And if you talk to the right people, there are definitely options. So we can get into that. All right, for a long time, but trying to get involved in another platform. All right, Virgil, come on over. Dibdit.com, Dibditsports.com, Dibditthreads.com, Polish and Brush. I'm so excited. I've got some plans for Polish and Brush in April, bringing on some guests. And I've been buying for Polish and Brush And I've found great deals over there to resell as well. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. I probably missed some. Dibdit cards. I probably missed some. Shop Commons is the wholesale site. That's a great place to find static sales, by the way. Mama Bear, good to hear. Appreciate you, Mama Bear. You sold last night, I think. Or no, wait, you sold today on Polish and Brush. Who sold on Polish and Brush today? Somebody already did, or maybe somebody's over there. Y'all should go check that out. I'm not sure where it is. Oh, Jessica was over there selling at noon. So she may still be selling. So go check out Polish and Brush. Become a member of all these places. If you don't like different things later, I would say at least become a member before we do all those giveaways, because that's going to be fun. And then you can not be a member later. Well, whatever, you get the point. Birmingham, Alabama. Come on over and join us. Dibdit.com, Dibdit.com. All right, Clever Finds is live right now it looks like nobody's on Polish and Brush. He's doing video games, Batman, Hot Wheels, diecast right here in Dibdit. I would normally say raid into that marketplace, but this was pre-planned that I was going to raid because they had shows in the morning and Clever Finds popped on. So go check out Clever Finds here. Or you can do Trinox Connections Fresh Haul, $2 starts. Clever Finds is a great show, by the way. He's a really good host.